Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would do a reading vlog. Today is Saturday for me, so I have the most amount of time usually to read on the weekends just because I work a 9 to 5 during the week. And I thought today we would start with Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. This is my second ever Fredrik Backman book. I just recently got this book and I've been very excited to read it. This is also my book club book this month. Actually, I just started it primarily this morning and I'm already 50 pages in, and there's so many different spots that I've highlighted, which is kind of the fun part about having a physical copy of a book. I do that on my Kindle too, but I don't know, just different physically. So I've been really enjoying it so far. Basically what this book is about is a failed bank robbery that turns into a hostage situation where this person takes 8 people hostage in an apartment viewing and then disappears. We're learning a few things, but also it's just really funny. The way that Fredrik Backman writes is funny, which I've heard a lot of, but his first book I read was Beartown. It's not really one of those books that's like funny, so he doesn't like get to use his full personality in that book. So this is the first one that I like feel like I'm understanding who Fredrik Backman is, which is really fun. That's what we're currently reading. I want to try to get through, I have quite the TBR this month, which you guys probably have already seen, but I'm trying to get through 7 books this month. So I think if I read like 80 to 100 pages every single day, then I can probably get all of them done, but that's quite a lot of pages. So I'm gonna try my best to get through as much as I can, especially on the weekends. So let's just get started. I'm a little tired, so I might also take a nap in between, but we're outside and just kind of enjoying some sun. Today is one of the warm days here in LA before we get back to like cold raininess. So today's actually 70, but then all next week it's supposed to rain, which I'm not complaining. I'm obsessed with the rain. I'm enjoying the sunshine in the meantime. So let's get to it. Let's keep reading and I will continue to update you guys as I learn more about this book. But so far I've really just been introduced to like what's going on in the book, some characters, and that's kind of it so far. Okay, I am only on page 72 of this book. I took a quick nap because I was pretty tired earlier, but I was reading some quotes to Ryan and I thought that I would read some to you guys as well because this book is so unique and I feel like Fredrik Backman himself is so unique. Just the way that he writes is so like, it's almost like you're not reading a story, like he's just talking to you, but then, I don't know, like he almost like adds in his own personal feelings, then all of a sudden you're thrown back into the story. And then similar to Beartown, you only get someone's perspective once you've met them through another character's perspective that you're in. But because we keep going through like different viewpoints, and I almost want to say like through the author's viewpoint, there's a lot of like very deep quotes. So one example is this one that says, Jim did his best to act like he definitely had experience, seeing his dads like teaching their sons things, because the moment we can no longer do that is when they stop being our responsibility and we become theirs. That one makes me really sad. Sometimes it's easier to live with your own anxieties if you know that no one else is happy either. It's hard to explain to a 12-year-old that when you were little and I walked too fast, you would run to catch up with me and take hold of my hand, and that those were the best moments of my life. Your fingertips and in the palm of my hand before you knew how many things I'd failed at. It just tugs at my heartstrings. So anyway, really good so far. I'm really loving it. It's like funny but sad. My camera died, but yeah, the book itself has just been like very sad and interesting, and also, I don't know, just like it's so unique, like I was saying earlier. So I'm really liking it so far. I am intrigued to see how the rest of this book progresses and what my friends are going to think about it as well. I think it'll just be interesting to see their thoughts because we all, like all 3 of us, really like a lot of different types of books. So I don't know how much they're gonna love this one, but I've been obsessed. Okay, back to reading. Good morning, you guys. Today is actually Monday. Yesterday I barely read. I read a little bit in the morning, but then I went off to do a run with some friends and it felt great. I was really in love with that run. Then I came home and like we just did other Sunday activities and like rearranged a room and things like that. So like I just didn't really read. And then by the time it was evening and I was like getting ready for bed, I was so tired that I just didn't have it in me to read my book. But today is Monday and it's a new day. So we're gonna go ahead and read. I am on chapter 28, page 104. So I wanna try to read, I wanted originally to read 100 pages a day in February, which now it's the 3rd, so I should be at page 300-ish. We'll see what we get to. I'm not in actually a rush. I just like to set myself some goals. Don't know really why I do that. I'm just a goal-oriented person, I guess, but we're just gonna read. So anxious people. I think I've updated you guys thus far as to like where we're at and what I'm liking about the book. So I have made some more underlines or highlights, but other than that, no big news to share yet. The chapters are very small, so even though I'm on chapter 28, I'm again only 100-ish pages in because there's 74 chapters in this book. So I partially like that though, because it makes me feel like I'm progressing more and the chapters are really short, so it just feels like I'm reading at a faster pace. That's actually very helpful. Those are my thoughts. Gonna keep reading and I will update you guys once something exciting happens. Hello you guys, it's the end of the day. It's actually already 7:15 right now and I'm just starting to get ready for relaxing in bed and stuff. I should probably take off my earrings. Half my makeup is off. Today was a very productive day, but it was not a very productive reading day. So I'm actually very excited to just sit down and read. I feel very tired today. You know, it was very productive, just not on the reading front. So I think it'll be nice to just like sit and focus on my book. I read a little bit this morning, like I had like said hi to you guys and was able to read for about probably 30 minutes to an hour. And then I had to get to work stuff. I've been loving my book. I feel like I haven't really had the time to actually like dedicate to the book as much as I would like to. I'm going to just like go plop on the couch and the bed. I'm gonna go plop on the bed and read. I also anticipate a little bit more reading this month. My brain is not here. I anticipate some reading this week is what I'm trying to say, because we're about to get some rain. The rest of the week is supposed to be rainy in my area, thank God, because I've been dying for rain. I mean, like LA in general has been dying for rain, but I'm also just obsessed with rain and I just want it to rain. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm gonna just get changed into some pajamas, brush my teeth, and then that way I can just like continue to read and update you guys along the way. I still don't like have too much to explain to you guys about like what I'm reading. It almost feels like a character study, but there's so many characters that we're studying that like I just don't even really know how to explain what this book is, but yet it's so fantastic. And I don't know how an author can have that dynamic of like so good, but I don't even have words to explain what I'm reading. That's just what it is and where I'm at. So I'm loving it, but I obviously am still only like, I want to say I'm probably like 120 or 30 pages in now. So I think I only read like 20 or 30 pages this morning. The second that I have more to update you guys on, I certainly will. But for now, let's go to the bedroom and let's keep reading. Just to kind of give you guys perspective of how ridiculous this book is, they are currently in a hostage situation with a bank robber who has a gun. They're all in this apartment because they were viewing this apartment, and while they're there, they're arguing about who can put a offer on the house or on the apartment before the others. And the bank robber is just like, oh my God. Everyone just stop, be quiet. I need to think for a second. And everyone else is like, oh, why don't you just let all of the other hostages go and I'll stay as your hostage, but keep the real estate agent here as well so that I can make an offer while we're hostage. Like, the ridiculousness of this book is just so out there, but then on top of it, there's like really hard-hitting quotes. So it's like such a weird mix of like what this book, like I don't even know what you would classify this book. And that's also partially why I don't know. I don't want to give things away to you guys. So I don't know like how to even update you about like what's happening, because so much is happening, but nothing's happening at the exact same time. So it's fascinating. I'm loving it. I'm gonna keep reading. We'll see how far I go and I will update you guys if there's anything more exciting happening. I am about to head to bed. I'm getting so tired, but we are so close to the 50% mark. I'm like literally 10 pages away from being 60% of the way through. 60? What? Why can I not say anything today? I'm 10 pages away from being 50% of the way through. This book is getting so good, I'm literally wanting to stay up to read it. But I just love the way that the author, just like the words that he uses, or like the way that he uses words. Like he'll use a word that has a variety of meanings and then he'll use every single one of those meanings in different spots. It's just so fascinating. Like his writing is what's so cool about this book. And I kind of felt the same way in Beartown, but Beartown was so much more serious that, yeah, just like wasn't as whimsical or funny. Like, I feel like you couldn't really play around with like the wording as much as you can in this book, but there's just like little fun moments despite the fact that there are 8 hostages in this book. So yeah, I'm really loving it. Those are my thoughts for right now. I'm so tired, I can barely think, so I'm gonna go to bed. And I will see you guys tomorrow when we continue reading, and hopefully we'll be able to finish the book tomorrow. But again, I'm gonna try my best to not put too many parameters around myself or like too many goals, because I tend to give myself a lot of goals. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello you guys, I'm on chapter 49 and that is page 209. On chapter 47, I actually wrote myself a little note here that I will not show you guys because I don't want to give away any kind of spoilers, but something happened in 47 that I actually had to like take a break from the book for a second and like walk away because I was so shocked. I was not expecting a twist in this book at all. I feel like this book, something that I was realizing as I was reading, and I felt like I wasn't really able to describe this earlier to you guys, but something that I was realizing is that this is more of like a character study, except for so many different types of characters that it almost feels like a study about humanity and like how certain people do certain things, and like just observations in general about humans. There are so many different instances in this book that, and I wish I can like find some off the top of my head. I highlighted some, but I wish I like tabbed the highlights, if that makes sense. But there are moments where, for example, one is like talking about how a man will put his wallet in his back pocket, and the only time he doesn't put his wallet in his back pocket is if he's at the beach, in which case he puts his wallet in his shoe. And it's just like little tiny things like that are just sprinkled around that sound so simple but are so accurate and so true. And it's just like, yeah, you just like, you feel like you're looking at humanity through a microscope. There's been so much of that and it's been fantastic. I love that about this book, but I really was not expecting a twist. And I don't want to give any spoilers about the twist because it totally came out of left field for me. And yeah, I just so was not expecting that. So I had to like just take a step back because I was like, everything I know is a lie. I don't know anything anymore. Nothing is true. What is happening? So I took a step back and now we're back to reading. So we're on chapter 48 and we're gonna keep going. There's like 76 or 74 chapters, something like that. But again, they're pretty short and quick. So I have 130-ish pages left. I'm gonna get right to it and we'll see what happens next, because I literally finished right at the end of that twist and I was like, I need a sec, and now I need to get back into it. Wow, that made me want to cry. I feel like the more that I learn about each of my characters, the more they make me want to cry. Like, each of the characters, you think that you know who they are, and then you learn something about them, and then it just makes you really emotional. And I think that's what's happening right now. So I have just under 100 pages left. I'm gonna try to do my best, but I'm getting really tired. It doesn't help that he's dead asleep. When he's like this asleep, it makes me sleepy too, because how does this not make you want to just cuddle up and be tired? You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to read as much as I can. I'm on chapter 54 now. I love some of these characters so much. I don't know how Frederick Bachman does this. Like, he makes you love every single character. Oh, you're up. He makes you know who every single character is, like truly, which is so special. I'm gonna go back to it and I will check in with you guys next time something exciting happens. Good morning, you guys. It's a rainy morning, which is arguably the best type of morning. I just woke up and I'm gonna read a little bit before work here. Hopefully we get through a good chunk of this. I wanted to finish this book last night, like I was saying, but I was just so tired. So I'm gonna read, and yeah, that's it. We're gonna read. Good morning, you guys. Okay, it's the next day and I wanted to tell you about my reading because it's been a second. I feel like this video has been a little sporadic, which I don't know, maybe that just comes with trying to read while you have a 9-to-5 and yeah, all of that you guys know. Anyway, I finished Anxious People and I gave it 5 stars. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm obsessed with the book. It was so good. There was that crazy sort of twist, and more so it was like just something that I wasn't expecting, and I had all of these assumptions. I think that's why like it took me a second to like stop and think and be like,
okay, I've been assuming these things this whole time. Like, what else have I been assuming? And I love when books do that. Like, they take everything that society assumes about us and they like use it against you almost. It was great. There were still so many quotes that I was obsessed with and just like so much inner monologue from each of these characters, which was so fun because so many of us have these same thoughts and ideas and things, but they're not usually expressed on paper. So that was really cool too. I loved it. I mean, really, Frederick Bachman writes so differently than I've ever seen someone write, and it's so fun to find something new like that. So definitely a new favorite author. I definitely recommend reading his books, and Anxious People was really great. I'm gonna read a man called Ove next. Ove. I forget how to say the name. I think it's Swedish because he's Swedish. Anyway, I'm gonna read that one. Like, the next Frederick Bachman I read, I think is gonna be that one. And then there's a ton on Kindle Unlimited. Actually, a man called Ove, I'm gonna say Uwe, is on Kindle Unlimited if you guys have Kindle Unlimited. If you guys want to check it out, that was I think his very first book that he published. Very excited for it. Okay, but anyway, back to what I'm currently reading. I picked up The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. This is from the library, so I wanted to get this one out of the way. It's also shorter, so I figured it'd be kind of nice to, you know, sit down, read a mystery thriller while it's rainy, because that's currently the vibes. Let me show you guys. Very rainy today, which I love. So I hadn't realized until I picked this one up that I had already read a Rachel Hawkins. I might have said that already before, but yeah, I just didn't even think about it. But I've seen this particular book online a little bit, mostly because people don't realize that it's a mystery thriller because of the cover. Like, it looks very summery. It has gotten like mixed reviews on Goodreads. I think its average is like a 3-star, but I still feel like a 3-star is worth, like, I'm trying really hard to not look at Goodreads reviews and then just not read books. Like, I obviously like to read books that are rated higher, but sometimes people will rate a book low and I like the book. So I try to do my best of like knowing if I'm gonna like something and also like using reviews, but not solely using reviews. One thing though is I forgot this author did this last time too, and I don't know why I don't like it, but she'll write a chapter and then there will be like inside that chapter like news clippings or emails or an excerpt from someone's diary, something like that, like additional information, which I think is interesting to an extent. I think it's cool when it's like done every now and then, like if someone's working on a project or it is a murder mystery and like the news clippings are important, but when it's every chapter, it just feels like you're not able to insert that information in a better way. I don't know how else to say that. So it bothers me a little bit. It feels like it takes me out of the story, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Basically, it's about these girls who have been best friends forever and they decide to go on a girls trip to Italy for 6 weeks, and they go to this one particular villa in Orvieto. But in 1974 there was a murder that took place. I guess basically there's like a complicated history there and it gets deep. Seems interesting. I keep thinking it's Friday today. It's Thursday today, so we have some work today as well, but otherwise we'll do a lot of reading today, which I'm very excited for. I haven't really been reading on my lunch breaks lately, which is why I've not been checking in with you guys, but I have a very chill day today at work, so I will be able to actually take a break and be able to read on my lunch break and all of those good things. So I will make sure to check in with you guys more often today. Books. We're about to go on our walk and he has his little rain jacket because it's all rainy and it helps his like little belly not get all dirty, and it's just the cutest thing ever. I have to show you guys since it's all zipped up. It sounds so silly, but like dogs' stomachs get really dirty when you walk them in the rain. Boop. You ready to go? Look at you, you're so cute. Okay, let's go. We're gonna go on a walk. Yeah, we're gonna go. Oh my god, you're so cute. Okay, that was all. Just wanted to show you guys. Hello, it's after work. Updates I didn't read during my lunch break. Today was a little bit of a chaotic day at work, but in a good way. So I have mentioned that I work a sales position as like my 9 to 5, and every single year they have a year-long contest, and basically the goal is to try to win the contest. And this year I won, which is a crazy, overwhelming thought. I was on the phone a lot today just thanking people for congratulating me, and yeah, it was just a very nice surprise. My friends sent over
over some crumble cookies, which was so generous of them as well. And it was like a big celebrating day. So I get overwhelmed really easily with like big news like this. And so I don't always deal with it the best, but I am so grateful that I worked hard and I got a prize for it. So that's really exciting. And I also will get a trophy. So maybe I'll show you guys the trophy whenever it comes in, but that was my day today. And because of that, I did not really do any reading during my lunch break because I was just like doing other things. But I want to get back into the villa. I want to read as much as I possibly can tonight. So let's do that. I am on page 40 currently, well 41, which is still only like chapter 3, I think. So these chapters are like pretty long. I kind of take back what I said earlier this morning a little bit. I like that these chapters, they do have like the newspaper clips, which I don't really love, but they do have someone else's point of view, which I think is fun. So we're kind of going back and forth in between time period, and that's kind of cool. I just wish that that was like 2 separate chapters because it just, I don't know, from whatever reason in my brain makes it feel like everything is going a little bit faster. But so far we know about our main characters, and then we know about our main characters in a different time period. So there's like 2 sides of what's happening. So that's where we're at. We're still learning a lot of things, but it is moving at a decently fast pace. I think that's because it's a shorter book. That's all I have really in terms of thoughts for right now. So I'm gonna get back to it. It's super rainy outside, which is such a nice feeling. I'm obsessed with the rain, as you guys know. So this is like my favorite reading mood, reading weather, I guess you could say. So we're just gonna get right to it. I'm gonna go out in the living room. Ryan's just working out there, so wanted to give him some space while he's finishing up his work, but we're gonna go out there, we're gonna read and learn a little bit more about our main characters. It sounds so silly, but I'm reading right now, and something that I am kind of struggling with that I don't normally struggle with on most books that go between like perspectives or anything like that. For some reason with this type of perspective where it's like something in the past and then present day main character, and I'm not getting a lot of the past, I'm getting confused about like who's who. So like, for example, basically the characters are bleeding in together, and an example is one of our characters from the past, her mom passed away when she was giving birth, and so then my main character is talking about memories of her mom, who her mom also passed, but not when she was being born. And so she's talking about memories of her mom, and in my head I was like, how does she have memories of her mom? But then I was realizing it's because it's the other girl, and they're like, the 2 characters are like bleeding in to one for me. So it's kind of interesting, but this is a very unique situation. Usually I don't have that type of issue with this type of book, or like with books that jump between main characters or jump between time periods, but for some reason this one's giving me that trouble. So I'm hopeful that as I learn more about each of the characters, they'll distinguish themselves a little bit easier, just like in my brain, but that's where we're at. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'm now on page 60. I've gotten a good chunk, well, 20 pages further, and we're gonna see how much we can finish. If I like really put my mind to it, I could finish this book today, but I just don't know. So we're just gonna do as much as we possibly can, and we will go from there. I'm almost halfway through the book now. I think I'm at like 44% or something. I was just reading on my Kindle but switched back to the hard copy now that I'm up and out of bed. I've been liking the book. I have more thoughts now that I am further along in the book. I do still wish that there were other ways to get some of this information across. Like, they kind of like talk about how, like, what happened at this house via a transcript of murder podcast, like a true crime podcast. I still feel like it feels to me like a little bit of a lazy way to get information to your reader in comparison to like somehow figuring out how to add in maybe someone doing the research, or maybe someone already knows about it and so then they're talking about it. Maybe they meet someone who's like really informed. I don't know, but it feels a little lazy. Every now and then these excerpts are fine, but they're very consistent in each of these chapters. So that's one thought. Thought number 2 is that I really like the Mary chapters, but I get so deep in them, and like one chapter will have like our main character Emily's chapter, and then it'll have some like excerpts of some kind, and then it'll have Mary's chapters. And the Mary part of the chapter is so much longer, so it feels meatier, whereas the story is supposed to be about our main character Emily. So it doesn't actually feel like it's about Emily, it feels like it's about Mary. So there's that. But I will say that I like this one so much better than the last book I read by this author, The Heiress. Like, The Heiress just kind of felt like, I don't know why, but this one is so much better. So those are the thoughts so far. Really liking it though. So we'll just keep reading. We are on chapter 7, I think. There's only 15 chapters, so they're just really long chapters. Anyway, let's keep reading. Okay, update. I officially made it to the 50% mark, but I think this is where we're going to end for this particular video, mostly because I have to get ready for work and we have some other things to do. But I do feel happy that I got through 1.5 books in this video, because sometimes I give myself too many like deadlines or like to have too high of expectations, and I forget that I literally work during the day sometimes. Like I'm like, oh, I could read 6 hours in a day. With what time, Jessica? With what time? This book actually is getting very good, 50% mark, and what we're at is basically just learning a little bit more about the murder that took place in the 70s and the way that our two main characters in both time periods are actually very similar people. They're both writers and they're both sort of in this like writing slump, so they're both using their time in Italy to try to get out of their writer's block. They're both like, one is friends with a famous person, one is dating someone who's like bound to be famous. So they're both watching another person become famous, if that makes sense. So there's just like a lot of similarities. They're not direct similarities, but it's enough that you can see why our main character is now interested in the murders, if that makes sense. So it's definitely getting interesting. I'm hoping that it totally picks up, because now that we're at the 50% mark, I feel like we're right around like the main climax of the story, but we'll see. So I'm sure I'll talk about this in my reading wrap up this month, or like if it comes up in another video, maybe I'll mention it in a vlog. But I do need to end the video here because, like I said, I have to get ready for work and all of those things. But again, I do appreciate you guys reading with me and just spending time with me over the last like week or so. I don't even remember when I started this video. I think it was over the weekend. It's been a couple of days. Every day I read different amounts too. So this is more like a realistic reading vlog in comparison to just like trying to sit and read as much as possible. Remembering that reading is also a hobby, and sometimes I see people on the internet reading a ton, and I remember I have to read what I like to read, but I also want to do other things in my life too. So just a reminder for all of you guys as well. So thank you guys so much, and that's all I have for this video, so I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.